Hey guys, this is Kevin for Pixovert.com. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at recommendations for monitors. These are going to be monitors for design, for photography, for video editing, and generally for just kicking ass under $300. I'm going to have links to the mentioned products in the description. Now, quick comment about a comment that was the highest rated comment on my last video last year, and this comment was basically that what did I mean by budget monitors? And the point really is that budget is relative. So for an amateur enthusiast, a budget monitor might be $150 for photo editing, but for a professional working in the movie industry or working in the print industry, something like $500 might be a budget monitor, maybe even more than that. So it is very relative. But what I'm going to do in this video, we're going to focus on monitors that are designed for professionals, costing under $300. They're going to be entry-level monitors. And we're going to have monitors that are going to cover 100% of sRGB. They're all going to have 3-year warranties. Again, this is going to be North America. So I'm basing prices on Amazon.com North America. And all the research has been done on the North American market. All the monitors are going to be VESA mountable and all are going to be IPS. I'm not 100% sure they're all IPS, mostly IPS. Now, the main thing for us is going to be color accuracy. We also want value for money, but we want, above all else, we want high quality. I will have a link in the description to one monitor which I feel is very good value, but high quality for consumers. We're not going to discuss it in the video, it'll be just a link in the description. And we're also going to discuss monitor calibration towards the end because I think that's a very important issue. Let's start off with the first recommendation, the Viewsonic 2458. This is a 24-inch 1080p monitor, 100% FSRGB coverage, and a delta E of less than 2 for color accuracy. I think the monitor itself just generally looks pretty trendy. It looks fairly modern. If we take a look at the connectivity, we can see it's got VGA, which is that very old standard, USB 3.0 Type A, USB 3.1 Type B, DisplayPort, and HDMI. Now, if we take a closer look at the monitor, looking at it from the point of view of the presentation on the Viewsonic website, it mentions all the details that we've mentioned already, but it also mentions hardware calibration. I'm going to come back to that because that's a pretty important thing to have on a monitor of this cost. One of the things that Viewsonic really makes a great deal about is the sort of what they call the frameless design, and is the ability to join monitors together in a grid or side by side. That's something that comes from the very thin bezels that you find with their monitors. One thing I wanted to mention about the hardware calibration, I think it was one of the more important things about the monitor, but when I look at the manual, most of the manual is in English, which is great because you know I downloaded the English manual, but the part on hardware calibration, I don't even know what language this is, but this is definitely not English. And I did notice this, which was a bit of a disappointment because I think it is one of the selling points about the monitor that it has got some form of hardware calibration, some kind of entry-level hardware calibration. We're going to look at a second Viewsonic monitor. This is the VP2468, very easy to remember. This one is very similar to the previous one. It has a 1080p resolution, 24 inches. However, this one contains a 14-bit 3D LUT. Now, you may be looking at the price and saying, okay, this guy said he was going to look at monitors under $300. This one is $439. Well, that's the typical price for this one. However, this is not one, this is a pack of two. You see, with Viewsonic, with this particular product, what they're trying to do is to cut down on packaging and on environmental waste. So they've gone ahead and packaged two monitors in one package. There's not going to be any stand, so they're expecting you to buy these two maybe in a corporate environment where you have stands that are going to be used to mount your monitors. Now you can get these as a single monitor, as a single 24-inch monitor. It's about $230. It does come with a stand, but if you want to get two, you can get them for slightly less per monitor, about $220 each. One thing I wanted to note with this one is that it's got plenty of connectivity. You've got HDMI, you've got DisplayPort, you've got mini DisplayPort, and you've got lots of USB 3.0 connections or USB 3 Type A connections happening there. Another thing which all of these monitors have in common is this: they have these sort of side buttons or rear buttons which allow you to quickly access different functions on the monitor. So all of them have that, and I think it makes for operating the monitor slightly easier. Let's take a closer look at the presentation on the Viewsonic website. They mentioned that it's loaded with connectivity. So we've got DisplayPort, mini DisplayPort, HDMI, high-speed USB ports, and all of this goes together to allow us to do what they call daisy chain multiple monitors. You may have seen this before, where you've got the laptop connected to a monitor, the monitor connected to another monitor, single wires involved. So that's something that you can do with this one. And another feature which I wanted to draw attention to was the color accuracy, delta E less than 2, as you'd expect. We have, I'm going to read this out exactly as it says here. Each of our monitors is factory calibrated to deliver an amazing delta E of less than 2 value, and includes a detailed calibration report for sRGB, European Broadcast Union, SMPTEC, Rec 709, and DICOM simulation color spaces. One other thing that they mention here is that they try to make the monitors as uniform as possible across the screen. So they call it an integrated color uniformity function. Ensures consistent color and luminance across the screen, meaning you get screen-wide true color from edge to edge, corner to corner every time. I'm sure you can kind of understand what they're trying to say there. But the main thing with this monitor is that 14-bit LUT. This is something which is only available on this monitor in this particular list. We move on to the next one, which is the Asus ProArt display PA248QV. This one is a new one. I've not recommended this one before. This one is slightly different in that it's 1610, so it's slightly taller than the other ones that we've looked at, but it is otherwise about a 1080p size. I think the fact that it is slightly taller makes it a little bit more suitable for photographers, because photographers just want a little bit of extra height, as most cameras are sort of 4:3, and 16:9 is a little bit, high definition widescreen. Again, 100% of sRGB is covered, also 100% of Rec 709, delta E of less than 2 for color accuracy. The connections they mention are DisplayPort, HDMI, and USB 3.0. A little bit more limited than the other ones that we've looked at. Now, this monitor, I would say, is probably my top recommendation, under $100. One thing to note about the ProArt, the Asus ProArt monitors, is that they have sRGB and Rec 709 modes. The very first monitor that we looked at didn't have Rec 709. It has sRGB, that's the VP2458. The next monitor we're going to look at is one that I wasn't going to recommend, but I noticed that the price of this had fallen significantly. It's a Dell Ultrasharp 24-inch U24 17H. This is another Full HD 1920 by 1080 monitor. This is a really nice one, and as with most Dell monitors, very well designed, really nice looking. The ergonomics on this one are the same as the other monitors. You can pivot, you can tilt, you can swivel, and you can see the connectivity here. We've got HDMI, we've got DisplayPort, we've got mini DisplayPort, we've got USB as well. So pretty up to date, I would say. This particular monitor is available in certain combinations as well, where Amazon will allow you to purchase it with keyboard and mouse. And I guess what they're trying to do is just to make life a little bit easier. If you're getting a monitor, there's a good chance you also need a keyboard and a mouse. Now, the monitor is like the other monitors we looked at, 3-year warranty, 100% of sRGB. Dell call it 99%, I'll call it 100%. Delta E of less than 2, so just as color accurate as the other ones. The reason I was not going to recommend this one is because I'm not sure how much longer this monitor is going to be on the website. If it's on the website at $200, it's an absolute steal. I think Dell Ultrasharp monitors are some of the best out there. We now come to the second Asus ProArt monitor. This is the PA2700Q. This is a 27-inch WQHD monitor. That's a 1440p monitor. Again, 100% of sRGB. A delta E of less than 2. We have slightly different connectors here. And if we take a look here, we can see the connections. We've got DVI, HDMI, DisplayPort 1.2, USB hub, mini DisplayPort, audio in. The ergonomics, you've got the height adjustment, swivel, pivot, tilt. And at 1440p, I would say it's probably the ideal size. 1080p is great to work with, but 1440p I think is even better, particularly when you're dealing with photography, when you're dealing with video editing. It can really make a difference having that little bit of extra space. And the other thing about 1440p is that it's not too demanding on your system resources. Sometimes if you go up to 4K, things can get a little bit demanding, especially once you get to having two monitors. I would say this one is my top recommendation for photo editing and also for video editing. So we can see here, once again, the ergonomics. You've got height adjustment, swivel, left and right swivel. You've got the pivot, the 90% pivot, something that you find with professional monitors for photo editing that you generally speaking don't find with most consumer monitors. Now, the next recommendation is the BenQ BL2420PT. This is a 24-inch 1440p monitor, so it crams a lot of pixels into a relatively small area. This one is for designers, and it contains two modes that are specifically made for designers, and that's the CAD/CAM mode, which is for computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing, and the animation mode for 3D drawing, animation works, and industrial design and graphic art design. Now, this monitor comes with a higher quality 8-bit panel. We've got out-of-the-box calibration. The CAD and CAM mode are designed for designers who need to work with software where they need to be able to see very fine lines on screen. And animation mode just adds a little bit of extra contrast or reduces the contrast when you need that for animation. The next monitor we're going to look at is the BenQ PD2700Q. This is a 27-inch 1440p monitor, and this one is superior to the last one that we looked at. Again, it is designed for designers principally. This one is slightly more expensive, but it does have a higher quality panel. It has a 10-bit panel. In terms of connectivity, we've got extra connectivity with HDMI version 1.4, DisplayPort version 1.2, so you've got DisplayPort in and DisplayPort out, mini DisplayPort, USB 2.0 hub, USB downstream, USB upstream, built-in speaker, and headphone jack. On the website for BenQ, they mentioned that this monitor has got 10-bit color depth. Now, it uses 8 bits plus FRC to give you 10 bits, but it is the best panel that we've looked at so far. Once again, 100% of sRGB color mode and Rec 709, 100% of Rec 709. A delta E of less than 3. So not quite as good as some of the other monitors that we've looked at. The previous one, BenQ, do not guarantee the delta E for color accuracy on that one. This one, delta E of less than 3. Once again, we've got CAD/CAM mode, and we've also got animation mode for this one. You also have dual view, which allows you to use two different modes on the same monitor at the same time. And that can be very useful if you need to compare the way a document will look in one mode compared to another mode. So this particular monitor, the PD2700Q, is my top pick for design at $299. Now, another thing I really liked about this particular monitor was the manual. The manual is a delight to read. Finally, let's talk a little bit about monitor calibration. Now, when you get your monitors, they will be color accurate out of the box, but what you really need to do is to keep them color accurate over time. And to do that, you're going to need to apply monitor calibration. And this is done using a kit like this Datacolor SpyderX Pro. This one costs currently about $230. But if you wait until Amazon have it in stock, it'll be about $169.99. So this one will allow you just to calibrate the monitor on a regular basis, just to keep everything nice and accurate. Another option is to go for something like the Datacolor SpyderX Photo Kit. This is a set of tools which includes the somewhat superior SpyderX Elite calibrator. And on top of that, it has a couple of other pieces of equipment. It has this color chart, which you can use in the studio to maintain color accuracy. And it also has this cube, which is used to set black points and white points and gray points and all kinds of wonderful points, just to help you keep neutral colors neutral and maintain the correct white balance in your studio shoots. Altogether, this one is $269. However, there is currently a special offer on the Datacolor website for $199 for everything included in this kit, and I'll have a link to that one in the description. But it is a short-term offer, so it will be going away fairly soon. So I would say take a look at monitor calibration. This is something that will help your monitor remain color accurate in the long term and allow you to make a good use of those 3-year warranties. So that's going to be it for this one. I hope some of that was useful. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the description below. I love reading your comments. That is going to be it for this one, guys. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.